Telling the time is actually quite a difficult skill. But you'll be pleased to know that whether you can tell the time confidently or whether you are rubbish at it, there should still be some time-based questions in the exam that you can at least have a go at. The nice thing about time-based questions in the exam is they actually have very little to do with clocks. Certainly you would not be very likely to be asked to draw hands on a clock or read a clock that's got hands drawn on it. What you are far more likely to do is work with minutes, hours, possibly seconds even, as units, in much the same way that we work with any other units, centimetres, metres, etc. Key fact number 1. You need to know the conversions for the different units of time. We need to know, for example, that 1 hour is 60 minutes. We need to know that 1 minute is 60 seconds. Using those, we should be able to switch between the units, switch between seconds and minutes, say, or between minutes and hours, and ultimately, I guess, between hours and seconds, if we did it in 2 stages, in much the same way that we would switch between any other units. We start with this fact and we scale up the sides of the fact as we need to. Change 120 minutes to hours. Well, we have the basic fact that 1 hour is 60 minutes. And we need to get to 120 minutes. Well, how many lots of 60 is that? 2. So if we've got 2 lots of 60 to get to the 120, then we need 2 lots of the hours, giving us 2 hours overall. Change 4 hours to minutes. Well, same kind of thing again. We've got that 1 hour is 60 minutes. We need 4 hours. So we need 4 lots of the hours, which means we need 4 lots of 60. 60, 120, 180, 240 minutes. Interesting question at this point. Bearing those 2 facts in mind, is time a metric measure or an imperial measure? Well, certainly time is something we use, well, all the time. It's kind of the whole point of it. So it's not old-fashioned, it's still very current, it's still very relevant. But we need to think about that more technical definition of what metric and imperial measures are. Think about the fact that metric and imperial measures, well, metric measures are all based around the hundreds, tens and units grid and use tens, hundreds, thousands, those kind of numbers in their conversions. These don't. These use random numbers. Why 60? Well, there is a very good reason for that, but it's certainly not connected to the hundreds, tens and units grid. Time is, in fact, technically an imperial unit. Now, the reason why time is based around these ideas of 60, well, there's 2 main reasons. The first is that 60 is a good balance between being big enough to be able to cut up into lots of different chunks in lots of different ways. It has quite a lot of factors, for example, but also not too big that it then gets difficult to do. There is also a connection with the fact that clocks are circular, and we will see that when we start looking at shapes later on. So bear in mind the fact that clocks are circular and use this 60 minutes, 60 seconds kind of idea. The second reason is that our modern system of time actually comes from ancient Babylon. It's not that modern at all. And whereas we use what's called a base 10 counting system, we count in tens, they actually used to count in 60s. They used 60s as their counting system, so the clock also became 60 based. It's also worth thinking about those times where we've not got a full hour. We've got less than a whole hour. Well, if 1 hour is 60 minutes, we must also have the case that 1/2 hour, half an hour, must be half of 60 minutes is 30 minutes. That also means that 1/4 of an hour must be half as much again, so 15 minutes. And we could always put those two together. A half and a quarter will take you round to 3/4 of an hour. So 3/4 of an hour must be 3 lots of the 15 is 45 minutes. Natalie drives from London to Sheffield. Natalie leaves London at 9:15 a.m. Natalie drives for 2 1/4 hours before stopping for a break. The break lasts for 20 minutes. Natalie then takes another 85 minutes to reach Sheffield. What time does Natalie arrive in Sheffield? The best thing to do with these questions is to try not to do too much at once, is to just do things one step at a time and follow the instructions as they are written. We start off with a start time of 9:15 a.m. Natalie drives for 2 1/4 hours before stopping for a break. Well, let's skip 2 hours on. 9:15, 2 hours on, we'll take it 10:15, 11:15. Now let's do the 1/4 of an hour. So that's 11:15. Well, if an hour is 60 minutes, half an hour is going to be 30 minutes and 1/4 of an hour is going to be 15 minutes. So let's put 15 minutes on. 11:15, 15 minutes on will be 11:30. The break lasts for 20 minutes. So let's go from 11:30. Let's do 20 minutes. That's 11:50. Natalie then takes another 85 minutes to reach Sheffield. Right, 60 minutes is 1 hour. 85 minutes then, well, that's 25 more minutes than 60, so that's 1 hour and 25 minutes. Let's do the hour part first. 1 hour will take us to 12:50. And finally, 12:50 plus the 25 minutes. Well, 10 minutes will take us up to the hour, so that's 1 o'clock, 1300 hours. 15 minutes left over, so that will take us to 13:15. What time does Natalie arrive in Sheffield? 1:15 in the afternoon. 13:15 or 1:15 p.m, depending on your preference. Here is part of a train timetable. We've then got 4 locations: London St Pancras, Ebbsfleet, Ashford and Paris. We've then also got 4 trains shown. This is a train, this one is a train, this column is a train and this column is a train. What do these dashes mean? Nice and simple, that the train doesn't stop at those stations. Part A train leaves London St Pancras at 06:18. How many minutes should it take to reach Paris? Well, with any of these questions, we need to identify with each given question which train it is we are talking about. The train leaves London St Pancras at 6:18. That has to be this one for part A. How many minutes should it take to reach Paris? Well, first of all, what time does it reach Paris? So it leaves London St Pancras at 06:18 and it reaches Paris at 09:47. If we look down that column, we hit Paris at 09:47. All we need to do then is work out how many minutes pass between 06:18 and 09:47. Well, 6:18, 7:18, 8:18, 9:18. This is what we're looking for. So 6:18 to 9:18 will be 3 hours. 9:18 to 9:47, well, that's 18, 19, 20, so that's 2. 10 will take us to 30. Another 10 will take us to 40. So altogether that's 22. Plus the 7 is 29 minutes. So 09:18 to 09:47 will be 29 minutes. Problem is, we cannot just write 3 hours and 29 minutes for this question because the question says how many minutes should it take to reach Paris. Minutes. 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 3 hours will be 3 lots of the 60 is 180 minutes. Plus the 29 minutes is going to be 209 minutes. Part B, what is the difference in minutes between the time it takes for the 0540 train and the 0618 train from London to St Pancras to reach Paris? First thing to notice in this question, the 0618 train that's just been mentioned is exactly the one that we've just done in the previous question. So we already know that that one takes 209 minutes. We now need to look at the 540, the 0540 train. Now the 0540 train starts out at 0540 at London St Pancras and reaches Paris at 0917. So we need to work out how many minutes that one takes. Well, we could do the same thing again. We could go 0540, 3 hours on, would take us to 0840. 20 minutes will take us to the hour, will take us to 0900, and then 17 minutes will take us to 0917. We just need to put that together. Well, we know that 3 hours is 180 minutes. We are then going to add on the 20 and the 17. That will come to 217 minutes. What's the difference in minutes? And this is our step 3. 217, take away the 209, that's 8 minutes. Difference. Part C. Georgie lives in Ashford. She has to get to a meeting in Paris for 10:30. What is the time of the latest train she can get from Ashford? So we look at the trains arriving in Paris before 10:30. Well, this one will not arrive in Paris before 10:30, so it can't be that one. This one will arrive in Paris before 10:30. Does it stop at Ashford? No, it doesn't. So we can't use that one. This one will also arrive in Paris by 10:30, and this one leaves Ashford at 06:55. That one is the latest train that we can use. So the latest time she can leave is 06:55.